You know, we always sip coffee before the show starts, and whenever I hear it back, it always sounds like we're doing a line of cocaine or something. Hey everybody, that's what you get for doing live shows, and that's what this is. This is the Jimmy Doane Show, live. That means 4 o'clock on Wednesday or Sunday, because that's when we do the show. And you can find us around the web also. If you search for Doane, D-O-A-N-E, I'll post a timestamp copy of this show in video format up on YouTube later and on Twitter. And we're also available in audio format if you like podcasts and that kind of stuff. So anyway, as I said, we are live, no net, no editors, no filter. Today is the 26th day of February 2020. What we say is what we say, right? So I'm in the home studio right now. Jimmy is in China.
Is he in China?
No, we're both in the home studio to start. Wouldn't do that to you.
No.
Wouldn't do that to you.
Well, before we get started, I want to this is kind of a personal note that I think is funny. Yeah, you see this here. This is the stuff that you get. These are the offers that you get from the Publishers Clearinghouse.
Oh yeah.
They send all of this stuff here of offers, and what happens is, I found out, of course, because you can actually send the envelope back and not actually buy any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Now the stuff is ridiculously overpriced. I mean,
what?
Oh yeah, hard to believe. The way they do it here is it'll say big numbers. It'll say $3.99, and then a little fine print it says 5 payments
27 times. Right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I mean, the stuff is ridiculously overpriced. But I sent it back anyway because just for laughs. I've been sending it back since about.
Well, you have the contest voodoo going.
I know. I've been lucky before. I have. That's right.
Lucky.
And Mrs. Jimmy, what?
No, it's like proof that God exists.
Oh,
or
that's
something.
true.
You
That's
know,
true.
It's like this weird.
That's true. I've won more than my share. But it is interesting
So
because.
come on, Big Seven.
What happened was, so these envelopes, they weigh about a pound each when they come with all this stuff. So they have gotten more and more insistent. About 4 weeks ago, I got one that said, "Emergency, this is your last chance."
Right.
Last chance.
Yeah. You showed everybody.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm now on my 5th last chance.
Oh yeah, we were speculating how many more last chances.
Well, here's the deal. Today is the 26th, and supposedly the magic drawing is 2 days from now. Now I mailed this one back in, so it should slide under the wire. And of course, if my luck holds, they'll throw mine in on top and then draw it right out.
Right,
So
exactly.
That's the way I'm figuring. Now, one of the things that I did find, you go ahead and read the official rules, customer satisfaction guaranteed and so forth.
Well, you went deep on this.
Let me tell you, I did some research. But one of the things that I did find, the big prize they advertise is $1,000 a week.
For those of you listening, he's actually reading the rules.
That's it. $1,000 a week for life. And the end date is 2/28. That's 2 days from now. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no, Lucy.
Oh, no. I don't, but I'm going to get buried.
Oh, Lucy.
I just noticed.
What?
The end date is 2/28. I've been watching that 21.
Oh, next year.
Next year.
Oh, so you got a few more chances.
I'm going to have
a few more chances. Look, hey, the next one you'll get is you may have already won.
Well, they've already got all that.
Right.
This is the number, but they have a bunch of them that are ending in March. But what I thought was the estimated odds of winning are 1 in 6 trillion.
Well, so you're saying there's a chance.
Sam, saying there's a chance. I just think that, and the chance of winning $100,000 a one shot, that's in March, is 1 in 2 trillion. 1 in 2 trillion. I don't mean, let me put it this way. The odds, you should play the Florida Lotto here because that's a couple hundred, I don't know what it is, a couple of million, but not a trillion.
Yeah, no.
You understand? This is one chance for every human on Earth.
I was going to say, no, well, not... No, it's one in 1,000, 1/1000th of a chance for every human on Earth. Instead of 6 billion, there's 6 billion people, and they're saying 1 in 6 trillion. So I mean.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean that means they're going to run 1,000 contests before they pick a winner or something.
1 in 6 trillion. I mean, you just wonder. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. Well, those are not really great odds if you live here on Earth.
No, yeah.
So anyway, well, moving along. I just realized that I just looked at this now, folks. Okay, in real time, and I realized that I'm going to get 100 more of these packets.
Yeah.
And each one of those packets has got to cost them a fortune to send to me. And
well, but when you send one back to them, that triggers the algorithm.
Oh no! In fact, they are coming to me personally now.
Yeah.
And you know, thank you. And you've done this, that, and this, that. But you still need to do this.
Man, when you send one of those things back, it's like sending in money to a political campaign.
It is.
Every computer on Earth lights up like a.
I tell you, it is phenomenal, and I hesitate to think in a way. When I look at the price, see how they're doing and everything. It obviously now is a scam. I thought for sure it was real, but I'm guessing now that there's some scamology here. But I thought it was interesting that 1 in 6 trillion. Is that really 6 trillion? I mean, let's see. No, 200 million. No, it's 1 in 6 billion. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's 1 in 6.2 billion.
Okay.
So all the people on the planet.
Well, that's way better.
That's way better. That's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to just. So anyway, as long as you get those things, it's interesting. You can tell how they're paying for this stuff when the prices are 4 times. It'll say on there, for instance, this item normally retails for $74, and you're going to get it for $34. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I can get it for like $2.
Yeah. Wow. It retails at Macy's on 7th Avenue in New York.
Yeah, certainly not around Christmas time.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's in the airport gift shop is what it retails for. That's exactly right.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's where you can buy a little, what do you call it? The little peanut butter cookies. There, three of them. Buy that for $10.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Yeah, see, retail. Okay. So a couple of things here, real quick, before we get to the debates. Debate was last night.
Yes.
And the voting is
Saturday.
Saturday, right? So we're going to see what's going to happen on that. And we've been listening to some of the pundits and so forth, what they all have to say. The best presidential candidate in 40 years, Michael Douglas, hits the campaign trail on behalf of Bloomberg. Apparently, he had been previously not for Bernie. He was for a Republican, I think, maybe, or who liked Trump, or I don't know what it was.
Okay.
Anyway, so Michael Douglas has decided to go on the stage for Bloomberg, and after it was revealed that his father, Kirk Douglas, who just died, left him out of his will and bequeathed his entire $60 million fortune to charity.
Yeah.
So this apparently. The article, which could have been fake news, it seems to indicate this was kind of in your grave.
They put these two things together like they're related.
Exactly. So,
but it's like it also points out that Michael's fortune is several times that.
Well, do you mind?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Do you mind before you jump in here and take my
sniping your thunder there?
Reportedly left his entire $60 million to charity. He didn't leave any money to his son. Who left with his father, Michael, left with... Okay, a Hollywood star who his own net worth is $300 million. So, gosh, Dad, you mean you left me out of the will? Damn.
No big deal.
Yeah, right, I guess so. So, to get onto the
what charity, I wonder?
I should write him and set up the Jimmy Doane charity.
Yeah, right.
That's, I guess. It'd be awfully nice. Bloomberg's stiff and testy manner in Las Vegas, this was a week ago.
The debate. Oh.
Yeah, last week led to questions about the viability of his campaign and if it can last past Super Tuesday. Now, of course, Bloomberg's major problem was debating. He should have stayed home and spent his money. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what he's hoping, obviously, is next Saturday, right? Yeah, the 3rd.
Well,
not this coming Saturday, but the one after that.
Okay.
10 days from now.
Okay.
Super Tuesday or whenever. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Whenever.
Tuesday is this coming Tuesday. Saturday the 29th is South Carolina.
So then Saturday. The following Tuesday, which is like 6 days from now, is Super Tuesday. Okay. 17 states, California's one of them. Lots of stuff going to happen, and the idea is, can he garner, a running go ahead in the delegate count?
Well, the real issue is, can they keep Bernie from getting an outright majority before the convention? And I think they can.
Oh, there's no question in my mind. There's no way they are going to pile on. This is what they did. We're going to talk about this in a minute. This is what they did last night. Is they piled on to the, as soon as somebody gets a little bit ahead, they want to pull them back.
Well, I mean, they were taking shots at Bloomberg again.
Right.
And if they were, look, it seems to me like Democrats have decided that two things, really, about Bernie. One, he's not going anywhere. That is, he's not leaving, he's not getting out of the race.
No.
But two, he's not going anywhere. That is, they're not giving him the nomination.
Right, no, they're not.
And so
they're going to move heaven and earth to keep that. I mean, this is where the deep state really shows up.
And so that would lead the other Democrats on the stage to just forget about Bernie and just go after
Trump. That's what they should be doing.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be a good strategy.
They do have to first wound each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, Warren kind of has to go after Bernie because she's kind of Bernie light or Bernie.
Yeah.
False Bernie or something. Or
fake Bernie.
Fake Bernie is what she is.
That's right.
So she's kind of got to take him down a notch, I think. But I don't know. She may be toasty anyway.
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out Saturday.
Well, I don't know that South Carolina tells us much more.
It's going to tell them something. I'll tell you, when the press starts to claim winners and losers, if that goes across
you know how that goes. I mean,
the big deal is, do they still get money?
Well,
if the perception is you're out of the race from what the pundits say.
Well, you really think people are going to drop out between Saturday and Tuesday?
Probably not.
I mean, you might as well just hang in.
You might as well hang in
Tuesday.
But yeah.
Because also, you're not. The other thing we got to remember about the Democrats' candidacies here is that it's not a winner-take-all system.
Right.
So they can all stay in, and that diminishes Bernie best. If you're on the establishment side, you would want as many people in there as possible. You don't want to unify behind somebody because then,
of course, they're going to be killing themselves. It's really stupid.
Well, they've got,
which is fine,
Well,
it's interesting. Reports of several lawsuits that accuse Bloomberg of making crude comments in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Okay. 100 years ago, he made some crude comments, so he can't be president.
Well, he still hadn't come up with great answers for those things, but he did at least defend himself a little bit. But why you would defend yourself? I mean, one thing I remember this great comedian said is never apologize, never explain.
Right.
And so
that's right.
Why you sit up there and allow Elizabeth Warren to dictate the next few minutes of your speech on stage?
Yeah.
And all you're going to do is sit up there and explain why those incidents 2 decades ago weren't that bad, even though you were 30 years old or whatever it is. And there's just no good way to win that. So you just want to stay away from that.
You absolutely deny it.
Yeah.
Or you double down.
Exactly.
And that's what Trump would do. Trump never admitted to anything.
No.
I mean,
well, he did the Rosie O'Donnell thing or whatever. That was the
oh
big
well, yeah, but
quip.
that was the big that was.
But it was a great way to diffuse the question.
Right. Well, this was the one where they accused him of calling women fat and ugly or what. He says, well, Rosie O'Donnell, only Rosie, right. So I mean, that was perfect.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He got out of it. Now Bloomberg tried to make a few jokes, but
that's what I heard. They have fell flat. I did not. I started to watch the debate a little bit, and I just looked at it and I choked up because of what I'm going to talk about now.
Okay.
It says amid insults and interruptions, Sanders absorbs a burst of attacks in the debate in a messy Democratic forum. Bernie Sanders, the emerging front runner, faced his most serious test, and Michael R. Bloomberg also drew withering criticism. The forum plunged repeatedly into an unsightly spectacle of flailing hands and raised voices, which is really just outright chaos, with candidates talking over one another and the moderators struggling and failing at times to direct an orderly argument. And when you watch it, though, to me, It reminded me not so much as my first grade when Miss Me, I know the answer. I know the answer.
And that's what when I thought
raising your
when I saw the debate last time when they were all doing that. Oh. But this time it looked. I don't know. It looked. It's still a ridiculous format.
No, of course it's a ridiculous. You can't have 7 people up there. You know, think about your first grade class when everybody's talking and wondering.
Right.
Okay, that's one thing. But at least the teacher could kick you out of there if you're abusive. These moderators. There had 5 moderators or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, the format absolutely sucked and was designed to create havoc, which it did, because the moderators couldn't control people. There was talking over all the time. The other thing was,
I mean, that's kind of the way that the debates go these days, and that's why I say the format sucks. It's not just that format; it's every debate like that. I mean, what you really want is like the Joe Rogan 3-hour interview with the person.
Right.
If you really want to see what it is. Now, Bernie only did 1 hour with Joe,
and Yang did 3 though.
Yang did, and so did Tulsi.
Yeah, that's right. Tulsi
but
did.
Of course, they're minor candidates, and they're not even in the picture anymore. So. I guess.
What had happened, I can tell you, between the Las Vegas debate and this one, they had gone back to their handlers. Obviously, they went over the video as much as they could. And what they realized, this was their absolutely last stand effort to put a quotable bullet point in there. They had to have some, last not for your country, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they all got to do their mottos.
They had to do their motto. And the problem was, they drowned each other out with their mottos.
Well, it was...
there was nothing quotable in any of the stuff.
Well, that's just because they weren't good. I mean,
that's true too. That's true. But I mean, can you imagine? You've hired the best writers in the world, and you sit around and you say, "We've got to come up with the zinger du jour," or whatever it is. And of course, one of the things is, there was one zinger, I forget, that somebody said it was okay, but it was directed at one person. Mm-hmm. And
I mean, Bernie put all that time and effort and money into it, and they came up with "not me, us."
Yeah.
Now, at some point, At some point, somebody just has to make the call. That's the thing about advertising. Nobody really realizes, that you don't think about. At some point, it's just somebody's judgment going, "All right, this is going to fly," or "It's not going to fly," and you need to rebrand. But.
Like New Coke or something.
Yeah, well.
Edsel.
Hit the brakes.
That's it.
But Bernie, I thought, are we on the debate yet, or?
No, we are absolutely, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I thought Bernie did just fine, even so, because he still comes across as authentic. And the thing is that what's great about this format for Bernie is he doesn't have to get into specifics at all. They can sit there and say, well, what about these numbers? And like he said, well, how long do you have? And they're like 2 hours. Well, no, you don't. You got 3 minutes or whatever it is. So you got 30 seconds for him to start doing numbers. So what he's going to do, he's going to round up. He's going to just say, it's this much, it's that much. There's no way to challenge it or anything like that.
No, not there.
And he gets to just ride on those numbers. So that's good for him, and I thought he did just fine.
Well, it was interesting though that they did call him out. Isn't this when he pulled the Castro thing out of his hat, where he said, "Wasn't all bad down there"?
Well, I think that he's being unfairly criticized for that because he separates it. He literally says, yes, they're horrible dictators that do awful, terrible things.
But
by the way, don't you like the education program? His supposition is that they can be separated, that those two things can be separated.
Right.
And that's the fallacy in his thinking, though, is he doesn't understand socialism requires a dictatorial structure.
Well, not only that, it certainly requires propaganda, or what do you call it, indoctrination in the school system.
And that.
They can read it all. It's like, to me, it's a lot like if the only book which years ago was the case, if the only book you read to be literate is the Bible, well, that's going to affect what you think.
Well, probably so. I mean, it's certainly one of the angles that they take, but that's really what Bernie is saying. He's not in any way praising the dictators, and I think he's getting unfairly criticized for that. He's just talking about programs. He's talking about individual programs. He's saying, look, a state can run a program of education, or a state can run a program of health care. I think he's wrong, and I think when you look at all the examples, that's not what you see.
No, it's
but
not.
That's what he sees, and so whatever, that's what he's going to pitch. But I think that again, Bernie has no chance in the general election.
I think he waded into quicksand on that one, but
well, yeah, I mean, look, and everybody, look, you know what he did on that one is he lost Florida. Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, and you need Florida.
Yep.
You're not winning without Florida.
No, you're not.
And guess what you did? You just pissed off the largest, and not just, I mean, you pissed off all the liberals in Florida. Not all the people who were already going to vote against you, but the ones who are going to vote for you and get their people to, take their family members down to the voting booth and stuff. And now, guess what they're not going to do for you, Bernie?
Well, you heard that right away. Donna Shalala, who was, is not a very nice person, although she is head of Miami University, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she's president of UM. Yes, yours.
Okay.
And that's exactly right. And she said, "Come on down and we'll see just what you think, what these people think about it."
An alligator tour in the Everglades.
That's it. That's it. No, I mean that's.
Yeah, he was not. They were not happy. I mean, my Cuban friends were hot.
I'll bet.
They were pissed. They were like, "Don't even go there, dude. Don't even try to separate those things out."
Florida.
That's it. So he's out in terms of that. But he was always out. He's out. He'll never. They're gonna football him. They're gonna. I'm serious. They're gonna pull the rug right out from under him. He's not getting anything.
Well, we're going to find it. It'll be. I can tell you, of all the days in the year that I'm looking forward to is Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean
Tuesday is going to be a ball.
If he the craziest thing will be if he just absolutely crushes everybody in every state on Tuesday. If he just wipes everybody out.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be a.
Well, the good news is Florida's not included in this.
No, I know. It's still got
like 2 weeks
days.
later. Yeah,
2 weeks, exactly, something like that. So, but like we said before, he can't just win on Super Tuesday, but he could really put a hurting on him. But I don't think so. I think we're going to see a Biden resurgence. Biden.
You do really?
Yeah. I mean,
did you hear that?
I know he's babbling.
There was a gas
150 million people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, man, hey, man, we got to come on, we got to do this stuff, and he's just babbling nonsense. It's true.
Well, it's interesting. It's one thing, they accused Trump of exaggerating,
right?
When they said this is the largest
size,
thing,
right.
There were.
He didn't say it was 6 billion people, though.
Yeah, no, that's right, exactly right. So,
well, he was only off by like a factor of 100.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But well, look,
and then he's running for the Senate.
Yeah, but he was reading that. You could tell he was reading as the end of his speech. And somebody else misquoted him. He said, vote for the other Biden. No, he said, vote for the other guy. But he just kind of used the B. He misspoke.
Okay.
He said, vote for the other guy. But he meant the other guy.
Okay.
And so he was like, if you don't like me, this is his great campaign speeches. Just give me a look. If you don't like me, vote for the other guy. But just give me a look. It's like, yeah, boy, that's inspiring. Didn't see anything I like.
Squint.
I'm out of here.
That's it.
But Biden, yeah. So, but he may look. If he survived, it all comes down to Saturday for him. If he does not at least get second on Saturday, then his funding is going to be dried up. I mean, like you said, he may still. Everybody's going to hobble through Tuesday because why wouldn't you? I guess.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we're counting down the hours.
Maybe there's a difference between people do a blitz over the weekend with their ads.
You can bet. You can bet they are. There's no question about it. And at least
whether they start their refunds or whatever.
Refunds?
Well, for the people, like if you're going to shut down your campaign, then you start paying people or whatever it is.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I don't know.
You would hear about that, that's for sure. That's what
I'm saying. We will be here on Saturday after, if somebody gets, like Klobuchar or somebody, I thought, when you listen to what she says, she sounds very good, she's articulate and that kind of stuff, but she's just not like charismatic or forceful or inspiring or anything. If you look, I mean, now, one thing she did say that was interesting though. She said that she has won every political contest that she has been in going back to the 3rd grade.
Okay.
I mean, that's an impressive record.
Third grade.
Well, and just every one that she's been in, it means she's a winner. She's used to winning. She's focused on winning, and seriously, she could come out. If you think about this thing going to the convention, because look, if nobody gets, if Sanders gets the plurality as we talked about, and everybody else gets 10%, so we go to a convention and they snipe it from Sanders, who else are they going to give it to? If Biden has collapsed between now and then it's not going to be him. Yeah, exactly. I don't see him.
No.
You know, he's too gaffy, and he seems to be off. But if he makes it, then they might give it to him.
Okay.
But who else? Bloomberg? No, because there's no way he can get the core of the Democratic base. They won't turn out, and so Bloomberg would be a disaster for them. And then Warren, I mean, probably not. You know, she's the inauthentic Bernie character.
Yeah,
if you were going to go
right.
for Bernie, you would.
No, she's gonna be. They're gonna Indian drum her to death.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. There's no way. Buttigieg.
Boom, 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 boom.
Buttigieg is like mini mayor at this point.
Yeah.
Next to Bloomberg.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, if you want a mayor.
Yeah. Is 100,000 people or 100 million?
Seriously. I mean, he could easily be Buttigieg's dad in terms of age and experience and everything. So there's just I don't see that happening. And then Steyer, I mean, who? I don't know. And then there's Hillary. But Hillary, I think she may inspire too much hatred to be. But when I think about that in terms of it's hatred by the Republican people. I don't know that she's hated by the left in any way. I mean, maybe she is. Maybe she's considered to be one of the
Poison.
Poison, and also one of the moneyed Democrats, one of the ones a Wall Street Democrat type, like Bloomberg. Mm-hmm. But
all right, well, let's move along.
Okay,
we'll talk about that as more. Now, I'm moving to something completely different.
Okay,
donuts on demand. I was wondering how this happened. DoorDash apparently is one of these food delivery people. Have lined up with Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
And Krispy Kreme plans to start national delivery of its products on Leap Day. The company is working with DoorDash to deliver fresh donuts and coffee in 42 states. They've got to be within 10 miles of a Krispy Kreme, which everybody is, as far as I know. And that's like saying, if it was Starbucks, you could say you have to be within 2 miles of Starbucks. Well, that's the whole United States.
Yeah.
It's not the desert, maybe.
500 feet or something.
Yeah, something exactly right. You could be in another Starbucks and order from the one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So anyway, for $5, they'll bring you Krispy Kreme donuts by the dozen to your door, and you can also get coffee from the chain. Which I thought, this is the ultimate. I mean, you think about it. You order pizza. I understand football pizza, but who is going to sit down and order for an extra $5? A dozen donuts. I mean, I guess you have to. Maybe they'll have a website where you can pick out which ones you want, and then have them rushed to your door.
Yeah.
So you can have a dozen donuts.
I don't see these delivery services have been sort of right at the verge of success for a while now. It seems like for like 10 years you've sort of
mean the independent ones?
Well, I'm thinking of all of them. There's
Pizza. I mean,
you're
Domino's, for God's sakes,
Right. Well, you're right. The independent ones, exactly. Independent of the people who make the product.
Right. We have Grub and Grab or something. We have 3 or 4 of them. There's an Uber Eats now.
Yes, exactly.
And like you said, they're not allied. This is first. This one is sort of allied.
Right.
With Krispy Kreme. I would have met. Was it Krispy Kreme? Or,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't the other donut.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'. Yeah. Right. Well. Okay. But look. Here's the deal. If you're smoking a little.
They're all delicious.
That's all delicious. That's number one. But I can see right now where you could have a delivery service that who's one of the major people that deliver the chips? The different kinds of chips.
Oh, like Lay's or something?
Yeah, Lay's, right. Lay's could line up with somebody in the delivery.
Yeah, well, you wonder. I mean, Publix has been trying to do it. Publix is a regional supermarket, and I've heard good and bad things about them. I mean, I was a volunteer bartender at the local theater at one night, and somebody showed up with 2 bags of groceries and said, "Here you go." And everybody was like, what is this? Turns out it was like the woman who lived next to the theater or something. They delivered him to the wrong place. We're like, what is this? Like, it's like a food delivery? And then we had like some toothpaste or something. It was crazy. But my point is those things have not made it to the next level. There are two levels I see coming, technologically speaking, which will advance the implementation of those services. One is self-driving cars. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you don't have to have a person in the car, the expenses and the liability, all sorts of
things. And the tip.
Everything has to just fall through the floor in terms of just all kinds of things. Downtime, everything. Then the second one is, of course, and this one is the real level, and that is the drone delivery. Once they start doing it through the beehive in the sky or whatever, that's going to be another game changer. Now, I don't know, that may be a while off still, because we still haven't seen Amazon, no packages are dropping at our doorstep. And
well, they can't actually, it's funny. Well, they might be able to drop at one, but
hit on the roof.
Hit on the roof, right? Yeah, exactly. That could be a bit of a problem.
Still, we would know. We would be the first ones to order the Amazon launch or landing pad if it was.
Well, not only that, I would think that the next thing that the drones would have, they would certainly have a horn on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as it comes in, you go, you know it's there. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Human, come out and get your package.
So anyway, I think it is going to be. I have noticed, for instance, that for $5 a month now, which actually for me makes sense, CVS will deliver my prescriptions. Which is, I spend probably going up there. I spend $5. No, I don't spend that much, but because it's fairly. Although tearing this one down. I would imagine that it'd be worth $5. Let me put it this way: a month.
Well, what it was worth is the safety factor.
Right.
I mean,
that's right.
Really, I mean, you're only going to spend a few dimes in gas or something, and there's a little wear and tear on the car or whatever. But really, it's the put yourself in danger for 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Thing versus,
and not only that, on a day like today, it's raining.
Yeah,
deliver away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see how that works out. So anyway, donuts on demand. We'll have to see what happens next. Speaking of donuts on demand, and this reminds me a little bit of I've been on YouTube. I've been binging on YouTube stuff, and they had one about. They had one about the stores, the supermarket stores from the 1930s to 50 different shots of them, and it's fascinating to see how they've done. They had a bunch of them at Publix and so forth. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean the big revolution that I remember that I think about is when they moved all the products out to where the customer was.
Ah, yes.
There was in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Back before that, it was behind a counter. And somebody had to go get that thing for you.
That's true.
And then they were like, well, why don't we just let them get it?
Well, they had one of the things that was the first self-service from 1933 or something. The first self-service food store.
Nice.
And they had what they had was they had a turnstile to go in and a turnstile to go out, so you just didn't run out the door with the stuff.
Oh, okay.
But about that time, cash registers were invented. So, that made... Anyway, moving along, the next thing we have to do is a little bit on climate change.
Okay.
The new climate change person, Naomi Seibt is her name. The 19-year-old, she's a competitor to... She
doesn't look 19.
This is a bit of a problem, but, she's an attractive face on, guess what? The deniers.
Right.
And she is a competitor, the exact opposite of Greta.
Yes.
So she denounces climate alarmism, calls climate consciousness a despicably anti-human idea. She's from Germany. And she's even using "How dare you" as one of her themes.
That's trademarked, man.
And no enough. Sorry, she's sue me.
Right.
So it's interesting because WAPO, the Washington Post, has decided to run a big thing on her. Well, listen to how they said it. They said they decided to show Naomi to the world to set the narrative that she is a climate-denying right-wing racist. That's what that's what you are if you're right-wing racist. In addition to climate change, Naomi echoes far-right skepticism about feminism and immigration. Now she's in Germany, and they have an immigration problem, whether they know, as we all have thought about it before. The German media have described her as sympathetic to the nationalist AID, which is a right-wing party. I don't think they're really they're the biggest party in Parliament, but they're one of 50 or whatever parties whose leaders have spoken about fighting an invasion of foreigners. Sounds familiar. So anyway, she says she's not a member of the AID people, but she's been giving them speeches. So
I don't know why she wants to mix. I guess they've already mixed immigration with climate change and racism.
Oh yeah, no, it's all the same thing.
Big soup at this point.
Look, when I was listening to Bernie the other day talk about Trump, and they have the 5 words. What is it? Misogynist,
right? Homophobic,
racist, xenophobe,
right?
And racist, sexophobe. Yeah, I mean, those just come off. It's like LBGQ, whatever it is.
Right.
It just comes off like that.
Yeah, but that you can't get away with that. That's just.
They try it.
I know,
and the cheers go up.
Well, but too bad.
Yeah.
You have to separate out, distinguish. Whenever I hear Trump is a homophobe, I'm thinking like I don't even remember the quote, the issue with that. Like how did Trump get to be? Like, what was the thing? I don't even remember what it was that links him to that somehow.
It's a bad word.
Well, no, I mean, I realize that, but there's usually at least some type of grounding.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, moving on to Israel.
Okay.
Netanyahu threatens all-out war after 90 rockets were fired from Gaza Monday, and this was a significant escalation as the Palestinian Islamic Jihad sought to avenge the deaths of 3 commanders killed in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza and Damascus the day before. Now, one of the things that happened is apparently there were some airstrikes into Gaza, and 3, they got 3 of the head guys or whatever it was. So the Palestinian Islamic Jihad fired 70 rockets into Israel, and this apparently was one more than they're supposed to, or something. Or however many more. They counted some. The thing is, they've got their Iron Dome, which is spots them coming in and so forth. That gets most of them. Okay, well, it doesn't get them all.
I wonder how big these rockets are.
Hold on.
Okay.
We are now hitting with planes, tanks, and helicopters, said Netanyahu, and while inspecting the Iron Dome, I'm talking about a war, he says. And what's interesting is the Israeli national elections are next week.
Well, they've been having this weird tumult over there with they've got a situation sort of like Britain, where they have to form a coalition if they don't have a majority.
Right.
And they've been going through this back and forth where they've had 3 elections now.
Right.
And also Netanyahu's been charged with fraud.
Right.
In between time, and so it's.
So anyway, but the point is, I only go to war as a last option, he said. Now, this is one of the things that leaders always do is when all else fails, you go to war. I mean, that's what, Clinton fired the missiles into...
Well, at least they're saying that as opposed to this is our first best option or something.
Yeah, no, that's not. But I thought it was interesting that pundits were quick to point the finger at Iran for allegedly supplying increasingly sophisticated rockets to militant groups in the Strip, which are reaching deeper into Israel. So what you just said was, what are the size of these? Here's 2 things. They fired 70 rockets. How did they get there? I mean, how did they get there? And they're from Iran.
Right.
And, I guess they've got a blockade or something like that. But, I mean, these are increasingly sophisticated rockets from Iran, 70 at a time, coming into this Gaza Strip thing for firing at Israel. So somebody's paying for them, number one. I mean, they can't be, they're not, it's not like pocket change to buy these things. But Iran, for some reason, has decided that they're going to build now you do understand that Iran now has the capability with a mid-range ICBM and that kind
We
of stuff.
talked about that, and yeah.
But my point is that you start putting these things into Palestine, the Palestinian jihadi people, and you start shipping over something that's the size of a V2 that's going to get past the Iron Dome.
Well, I don't know that it would. I mean, it seemed like a smaller rocket may do better, but then again, I mean, look, Israel's just not that big.
No.
And you should be able to pretty much hit wherever you want. And if you could get a large enough warhead over there, they could do some real devastation.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me one bit that the Israelis want to clear some land.
Well, my point, the thing about it is, it reminds me a little bit of the United States sometimes when you get provoked and you send 750,000 men over to Vietnam, or you send 500,000 over to not Saudi but Iraq or whatever it is, and we have why? You can hit a button, for God's sakes, and get rid of everything right now. Just what are you wasting your time for? You spent $2 or $3 trillion on a war in the Mideast when you could have dusted the whole place in 20 minutes. I mean, if you're going to win, why do you go to war? Here's my exit strategy: you're dead.
Yeah. Well, and Israel certainly has the capacity to do that. I personally think that they have taken it too easy on the people who have been firing these rockets into their land for now years and years and years. I mean, nobody else would tolerate that kind of stuff, and I don't see why they should. If I were them, I would push back those peoples away in a way that would provide more security for the Israeli people. It's hard to. There's not much you can do because if they're firing from the Gaza Strip, they're right there.
They're right there. Yeah. You can throw it.
Yeah, and but you could certainly get everybody out of Jerusalem, and it would cause a lot of ruffling. Feathers.
They already ruffled them.
Well, exactly. They're already ruffled.
Whatever.
You got 70 missiles, 70 rockets coming in. How much more ruffling?
We're really pissed now.
That's right. No, you're getting 75 missiles.
That's
it. So from my perspective, have at it. I don't know why they. I would say go for it. And,
they came over. Somebody came over here and knocked down the 2 buildings. And we immediately sent, 1 million, 2 million, 500,000 troops over there to destroy everybody in sight. But
that was as we.
I know. It's not exactly good, but it's just, you talk about retaliation.
Yeah. No. Well, the United States would not. Like, for example, if Mexico launched 70 missiles into Arizona or something. Our asses would be down there.
No
the
question.
Place would be crawling.
No question.
Military.
There would be more soldiers down there than Mexicans.
Seriously, in no time.
That's right, no time.
So
that would be it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Okay, moving along. Let's talk about the coronavirus.
Aha! Fire up the transporter. Don't worry, we're protected out here.
That's right. Quote. There's the wall. Quote unquote. This might be bad. Says the U.S. officials finally admit the coronavirus will be a pandemic with schools and businesses forced to close. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention outlined on Tuesday what schools and businesses would need to do if the coronavirus reaches pandemic levels, which they say is likely.
We'll see.
It's not so much a question of will this happen in this country anymore, but a question of when this will happen. Says one of the head. Public officials do not know if the spread of the virus will be mild or severe, she added. But they should prepare. And this is, it reminds me, of course, in the 60s, we were digging bomb shelters.
That's it.
I mean, that's it.
Prepare for the worst.
Prepare for the worst. You dig a bomb. I mean,
I've noticed the ads for masks popping up on.
Yes. Yes.
It's like they want you to get one nice, sophisticated-looking mask too.
Yeah.
Well, look. All right, I'm going to go on record as a virus denier at this point.
Good for you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Look,
on
here's
this.
the problems. The same ones. Now, I have to back off that a little bit. I mean, it is still possible. But when I hear reports like this, there's 2 things I think of still. One is we've still had now tens of cases at least in Western hospitals under surveillance, and nobody has reported anything crazy from those places. Yeah, you've had things like Italy.
Italy's a new hotspot.
Right. Okay, but
And they've closed everything down in Italy.
What's that?
They've damn near closed everything down in northern Italy.
Well, I mean, you know what? I did hear 50 Papa John's were closing in China and something like that. Like
Right.
half of the McDonald's or something like that.
Right.
Starbucks, things like that. But we talked last week about the supply chain potential.
Right. The supply chain is a real problem.
I heard a girl talking about the container ships, and she was saying that the drop off that we're seeing right now was really underway prior to the coronavirus scare.
Really?
Yeah, and I think is I think that they're just kind of blaming this, like this we've had in the last couple of days, the correction in the stock market, a couple of thousand points in a couple of days.
Yeah.
From my perspective, that's not so much the coronavirus as it is other systemic issues with the market. Now, maybe the coronavirus is what spurs everybody to go.
See, I talked about this before.
Yeah.
The black swan.
Right, exactly.
This is something that it's a
Because at the end of the day, somebody has to make a decision to pick up the phone or to go on the computer and make the trade.
Yep.
And it's usually, I mean, it's always an emotional decision. So the question is, how bad is it going to get though? But then you hear stuff like, oh, China is severely underreported. I saw one report, something like there's 50 times more cases than they reported.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is, if that's true, then that means that the death rate is 1/50th of what
Right.
it is. And
Right.
and also another interesting, I saw the death rate by age.
Right.
And did you see the breakdown?
Oh yeah. Really old people or
no
really young people.
No young people.
No young. Okay.
That was the weird
Okay.
thing was no deaths under 10 years age at all.
Wow.
And then 10 to 20, 0.2%, 20 to 30, 0.2%, 30 to 40, you start to get a little higher, 40 to 50, and then 60 to 70, you get some more, and then the 80s is where like
Right.
all the people were
Right.
dying.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
yeah.
well, that means, I mean, that's...
The beauty, though, of this is this has to do with all the people that think the population on this planet.
I know. Well, see, this is what I thought. This proves this was a millennial engineered virus.
Yes, right.
To wipe out the boomers.
See, look, here's the deal. They don't need to be collecting
it
all
ought to be
this
called boomer virus.
That's right, because what happens is we're paying all this money to the retirees, so we got to get rid of the retirees.
That's it.
That's it. That's right. You get it's
and
like
they've got all that money that can be inherited by the state.
well, or by the sons and daughters too,
Right.
and which ultimately goes to the state. But it's like Logan's Run. You know, you have the.
That's it.
You know, you cut off-
30.
yeah, right. Okay, so anyway, and the other thing, of course, I noticed that they don't know if the virus is going to be mild or severe, but they should prepare for everything. Bloomberg, of course, has advised anyone traveling to do so by private jet only. And
That's his safety plan.
And
Everybody travel by private jet.
That's right, to limit contact with fellow travelers. Good times ahead for those who survive. There's a lot less competition for diminishing resources. Way easier to cull an excess population than to re-engineer a planet to do the climate change business or whatever it is. You know, all the carbon. No, you kill off all those people,
right.
and now you don't have a problem anymore. Look,
That's right.
problem solved.
Everybody simply live in your dome.
That's it. And travel on your private jet.
That's right. Spend
No
time
problem.
in your barometric chambers.
That's it. That's good. So, so anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, that's obviously cheek, tongue, whatever.
What?
Yeah, what? But I think it's interesting. We're going to cull the old ones. You know, they're going to be slapped down. Okay, moving on. If anyone should be, we're going to go across the pond to Meghan and Harry.
Hey.
Although they're here now, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he went back. Anyway, they're being picked. He says they're being picked on, and the restrictions put on them are payback for wanting to be independent, says Harry.
Well, that's true.
Well, you know, the thing is, they've come over. What's happened apparently is the Queen has decreed let's see. Here's. I love the way these stories are written.
I strip thee of thy royal
Exactly. I think here I'm gonna. This is a new sword. We're turning it over.
henceforth you shall be called Toad.
That's right, exactly. Henceforth, Meghan grumbled to her inner circle the last week that the Queen banning the couple from using the word royal in their branding later issuing an extraordinary statement appeared to complain to the palace that was treating them differently than other family members. Well, yeah, but they are different. I mean, whether you know it or not, they're different.
Well, what's interesting is I still am an adherent, or at least suspicious of the theory that Harry is not the prince's son.
Yes. Yeah, okay, right.
He looks way too much like the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Way too much.
I wonder if is he going to send a sample into
exactly.
23andMe?
Well, if he doesn't, his kids will, or somebody will at some point. And it won't be long.
No.
Because, everybody's tracked down at this point, so.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's right. 23andMe. Well, there's a reason why you can't use the word royal.
Yeah, that's it. You're out, buddy.
Well, actually, he would have still, as her offspring, he would still be.
Yeah.
That's right. But he could be, but he could get a second job as a guard.
Yeah, well, yeah. He gave up his position in the Royal Air Force. I think it's interesting how reactive the Queen has been to all of this. I would have expected a more muted reaction. She seems to have been affronted by the whole thing.
She's 93 or something, right?
Yeah. But it's like, why you got publicists out there writing stories that are like, and maybe she doesn't have anything to do with it. Maybe it's somebody else. But
well, there's been obviously some uproar in the royal family. They're
right.
They've come to the
Andrew
forefront.
And the whole
exactly. Yeah, that was
Epstein
he was
thing.
snubbed at some meeting. Apparently, he went to some function, and people and other royals decided not to show up.
Well, he flat out told the United States, "I'm not coming."
You're right. Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
What? So you got an investigation? Have fun with that.
Yeah, have fun with that.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Anyway, another thing that we got here. Moving on about artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
They use changing a single word can alter the way an AI program judges a job applicant or assesses a medical claim. There was a couple people at MIT, kids that went together and they had one AI against another AI. Mm-hmm. So apparently they have an AI that they feed the information in to assess if you're eligible for some medical thing, or if you're medical claim or job applicant. They'll feed all this in, and you look at your resume or your CV or whatever it is, and see if you're going to be. So anyway, what they did is they changed a couple of words. The legal documents, the strategic. What they found out was they can change a couple of words, and reverse the findings. So they had an AI program that they called Text Fooler, and so what they did is they fed in, they got the original resume or whatever it was, changed two words that meant the same thing.
Yeah.
As an example, the algorithm uses AI to suggest which words should be converted into synonyms to fool the machine. So the characters, let me just see here. It's a trick algorithm designed to judge movie reviews, for example. Text Fooler altered the sentence. The characters cast in an impossibly contrived solutions are totally estranged from reality, and they change it to read, the characters cast in impossibly engineered circumstances are fully estranged from reality. And of course it changed the review from positive to negative.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a subtlety that they're not going to master anytime soon.
Well, it's interesting. They said what this algorithm does, this AI algorithm does, it changes a 10% pass through or fail to a 90% fail.
Okay.
So I just thought it was interesting, the battle of the AIs. So so for the deal that I'm not worried about is when we have Skynet and they start fighting. I'm more powerful, and they start fighting among each other,
Right.
as they are wont to do. I mean, you get a whole bunch of humans together. The next thing you know, they're fighting about something, and so I'm figuring with Skynet, the next thing you know, they're blasting everybody each other out of the sky. So no problem with Skynet.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the AIs because for a couple reasons. Number one, that they'll never, as smart as they'll ever get, they'll never be able to feel anything, or at least we haven't even thought about beginning to create.
I don't know how you can say that. Now look, I saw some of those Japanese robo whatever they were thing, and they do. Is everything
The
okay?
sex robot I hired last night sure seemed to feel
Exactly. Are you kidding? This was
But
there you go, right there.
Yeah, seemed there's a new German movie with like a 10-year-old sex robot or something like
Wait a minute. You mean it's 10 years old, or it's acts as a 10-year-old?
Yeah, I don't know which one you meant, but the bad one.
Okay, the pedophile, in other words.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And but whatever. Look, AI, and also they're only going to do what they're programmed. That's what this movie is about. Is that the thing? It's just a thing. It's just doing what it's programmed to do.
But what if it ends up like Data?
It's not. It does. That's
What
like
are you talking about?
lightning strikes it or something.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five or anything. No. No, I'm talking about Data. You remember that one show where they had they wanted to take him apart because he was, and they had to convince everybody there was enough human in him.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you,
he had to play the violin and stuff like that.
well, whatever. The whole point is when you look around what's happening here, and they've given some orangutan human rights or something like that.
Well, that's the same type of insanity
Well, okay.
as this, because you have to have a human interpreter. And it's the same thing with AI. You have to have a human programmer. The AI is getting very good for specific purposes.
Well, they have heuristic programs now that learn on their own.
But the thing is that a human is still so much better at going through all the levels, all the different times, and even the one like they program to beat the human at the Go.
Yeah.
You think, well, that's just totally random, right? No, it's not, because what happened is they built an algorithm. A bunch of fantastic human Go players taught the computer how to play Go.
I think what I could be mistaken on this because I did this one time with blackjack. I taught the computer how to play blackjack and keep a sum of what it was and what it was doing and how it was doing it and so forth to teach it, what was the best play. And so with the Go thing, I thought what they had done, I could be wrong, but they put the rules in there and said go to it and win or something, and apparently it played like a jillion games and figured out the way to win.
Not exactly. That's the scary theory, is that it just figured it out somehow. But that's not what it's doing. What it's doing is it's modeling. They give it a whole bunch of models, and they say choose from one of these models. Where do you think you are in the system here? This is the system. But it never imagines its own system or anything like that. That's the
Hell, you say. I tell you that right now. You wait.
Get great AI I tell you, one of the great advancements we're going to get is in AI doctors.
Yeah.
You're going to go to the thing and you're going to walk in there.
Your smartwatch. For God, what are you talking about?
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's just an extension of your AI doctor. And so your smartwatch will communicate with the home doctor, and it'll be like the that's right.
You're dead.
Put that donut down.
That's it. Exactly right.
And it slaps your other hand.
That's right.
But no, it's going to be like the doctor on Enterprise or
right. McCoy, you mean?
Well, no, I mean the hologram.
Oh, the hologram. Yeah, right. Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Look, I got a couple things here, but I'm going to finish up because we're right at the end. Walmart and so forth. This, I thought, was one of the things that's interesting. Two things, I'm sorry. Bill Cosby's publicist, he has a publicist.
Oh, sure.
Called Weinstein's verdict a sad day for the judicial system. I would challenge Me Too to go back 400 years and tarnish the names of those oppressors that raped slaves, says his attorney. But I mean, Bill Cosby has a spokesperson. I mean, what?
Of course,
he's
man.
I'm thinking, wait a minute, he's out of jail?
No, I think he's still in, but he's still got probably tens of millions of dollars.
Well,
and so he got enough to hire a publicist.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, it must be.
Had one for a long time, I'm sure.
I mean, if I were, I guess, but if I were Bill Cosby, I'd certainly want to lay low, as they say.
No, you might want somebody out there spinning things your way. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do.
I know. Oh, I know. That's exactly. Okay, the last thing I've got here is Hollywood's GoTo Denim brand. Okay, there's a denim brand called GoTo.
Oh, okay.
For jeans and stuff.
Okay.
It's selling jeans for only $50.
Wow.
Yeah. Prices are up to 85% off the normal ones, which, according to that, the guy's saying this is the cheapest they've ever been. Now, I was looking at the pictures, and they look like regular jeans and so forth. They have a couple of holes in them, not the real tears that you see. But what this means is they sell for about $330 a pair.
Okay.
In retail.
Right.
That's, if you're in Hollywood, you want a pair of jeans, $330, and now it's going to go down to $50. Can't wait. I'm going to stand in line like for an Apple iPhone when the new ones come out. You know, I'm a A-lister. But
clothing has changed dramatically now, and it's you can get any type of clothing, and it's for nothing these days.
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, I remember when I went down the first time I bought a pair of pants. I think it was, and this was probably in sometime in the 50s, and I went down to get a pair of dress slacks, and I was astounded and amazed that they'd gone up to $16. So, anyway, that's pretty much what I've got. It's
okay.
Unless you have something that you have to put in.
Nope, I sure didn't. All I had was the debate this week.
Okay, good. And we'll have more on that.
Well, we'll have Saturday. Hey, Scott. Well, we'll have the South Carolina.
Yeah, we'll have the South Carolina
situation.
For sure.
We'll know a little bit, but like I keep saying, I don't think that's.
Don't forget to send in your Publishers Clearinghouse. You do have to pay for the stamp. That's it.
Man. All right, these tracks brought to you by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks, Kevin. We appreciate it. You write some good stuff, man. We will see you guys on Sunday, a day after South Carolina, if they have results. I guess.
Yeah, can you imagine if it's all tied up somehow? If the count is.
Well, it just doesn't even matter. Like I said, they're just waiting to pull the rug out from Bernie, and it's just a question of who they're going to give it to at the convention, I think. So, but if this economy keeps tanking.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But I think that you can certainly blame it on the virus.
Yeah, he's getting away with that now.
That's exactly.
If
not my fault.
Well, exactly. Couldn't have ever seen it coming.
No.
Kind of thing. But still, yeah. I mean, it might save him. All right. See you soon.